Reporting live from the CTV studios in Eugene, Oregon, here is Mike Albin.
Good evening and welcome to the Albin Report. I am Mike Albin. Bilingualism. It's a touchy subject in this country. But how far do we go to make people who speak a different language feel comfortable speaking it in America? With me via satellite is somebody who's faced this discrimination firsthand. He's the president of the Dyslexia for America Association, Mr. Bob Back-Aswert. And on the phone, former presidential candidate and talk show host extraordinaire, Pat Buchanan. Thank you, gentlemen, both for being here tonight. And Mr. Back-Aswert, we're going to start with you. When did dyslexia become a language?
Mike, you see, it's that kind of misconception that has been haunting my people and their problem for years. Imagine being a child and going to a simple Christmas play entitled Santa's Workshop, and you think it's Satan's workshop. These kind of scars last forever. My people are unable to deal with society on a regular basis because they can't understand simple signs. This has led many people to suicide. Unfortunately, the success rate is extremely low since most people jump behind the bus.
Mr. Buchanan, your thoughts on that statement?
This is a disgrace, Mike. Once again, this is leading to the demoralization of the American fabric. We have to stop these kind of foreigners coming into our country and imposing their language on our society. We must close the borders and deport these people.
Well, Mr. Buchanan, with all due respect, these people with dyslexia are Americans.
They're Americans, Mike, because we give anybody a green card that can cross a river and has a child. This has to be stopped. Once again, I'm for Americans with American rights, and dyslexians cannot be a part of America.
Well, Mr. Back-Aswert, how do you exactly want to solve this problem?
Mike, I have on your teleprompter here, I'll show you many signs that you can use today, simple signs that are regularly used for people to communicate and deal with society that are impossible for a dyslexic person to deal with. So, it's very simple. We already have Spanish on there. Now I just want to have the dyslexic language put on these signs so that you can tell, so that a person can just have a normal life and be able to do their day-to-day dealings.
So, Mr. Back-Aswert, it sounds like we're getting into territory here where you're saying that people with dyslexia should have special rights.
Mike, my organization is vigorously fighting for those rights, which includes tax breaks, social programs, parking spaces, and if we're lucky, we'll soon have our own casino.
So, I mean, why stop there? It sounds like you want to have your own schools.
Mike, in fact, we've already begun our own school. It's called the Institution Dyslexic Learning a Hire for School.
Well, Mr. Buchanan, I'm sure you have some input on this.
Mike, this is exactly the problem I'm talking about. If they're unwilling to learn the English language, then they need to take their false idol God and leave our schools.
So, Mr. Buchanan, with that in mind, I mean, it sounds like if, we're separating people who are dyslexic, I mean, we could get into new territory as far as voting. I mean, we're talking about a certain league of voters, to get the dyslexic vote. I mean, is that something that we'd have to think about in the future?
Mike, I'm thoroughly convinced that the only reason Bill Clinton became President of the United States is that dyslexics thought they were voting for George Bush. Mike, can I add something to that there?
Sure, go right ahead, Mr. Buchanan.
I take offense to that because I want to say that most dyslexics in America are avid supporters of George W. Bush. Of course, being the first openly dyslexic man to be President of the United States, he is setting a great example for people who cannot communicate with what we call traditional English language.
Mr. Buchanan, any thoughts on that?
See, Mike, once again, as you've seen with the terrorists, the dyslexics are coming in and are threatening our country's peace. This is why we're at war, Mike.
Well, as you can see, gentlemen, it sounds like this is going to be a topic that's going to keep going on and on and on. The controversy, there doesn't seem to be an answer to this. Mr. Back-Aswert, any last thoughts before we leave tonight?
Mike, all I have to do is sing a song that I used to sing as a dyslexic child. Along a sing, along a sing, buddy, every along a sing. And if we could all sing that simple dyslexic song, maybe we could have some more understanding for other people's plights.
Well, with that thought, we'll close tonight's show. I want to thank my guests, Mr. Back-Aswert and Mr. Buchanan. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight. And one final thought. We all speak different languages. Some of us French, some of us German, some of us Texan. But one thing is for certain, we are all Americans. Well, except for the French, the Germans, and the Texans. Good night, and thank you for watching the Albin Report.